Hey guys, hey. I'm not really sure where to begin here. So let me just say this. I had a very overwhelming day of tinkering and troubleshooting. This is part 2 of my journey to resolve my Hopup issue. Because yes, the MAXX ME Pro Hopup has let me down for the last time. But now, I need to fix my Hopup, and it's not easy. So where did we leave off here? Yes. Here we are, the following week after that last video. Okay, so let's start off from the top here. The first thing I did was I took my old trusty stock Crytek Hopup and I flat hopped it. I shaved off the concave arm and made a flat nub out of silicone. I went ahead and did the exact same thing for my G&G Hopup chamber as well. In fact, I did this 4 times. Twice for me, twice for Sasha, who I said in my last video was also going through the exact same problems. For good measure as well, I opened my gun up and took apart my Polarstar F2 engine. I went ahead and wiped away any old grease and greased it all up again with the Tech T gun salve grease, which is precisely what Polarstar recommends you use, nothing else. Okay, so I'm at the field and my first task is to try out my G&G flat hop chamber, paired with my Umbrella Armory R-Hop barrel. Remember, the problem I had with my MAXX ME Pro was that my shots were extremely inconsistent. Some shots went up, down, middle, perfectly hopped, no hop. I couldn't do anything to fix that. Well, things weren't much better with my G&G Hopup. Well, I mean, they were actually better than the MAXX, because at least with this Hopup, my shots weren't veering left or right. The problem with this hop is that the chamber was extremely sensitive and I wasn't able to dial up or down without overhopping or underhopping. Sasha's gun was also seeing the same results, better than the MAXX, but nowhere near viable for taking reasonable shots at a reasonable range. Allow me to interrupt by stating this. These nubs that I made could have easily been made incorrectly or within some margin of human error, unlike the flat nubs you can buy, which are manufactured and made from a rubber material. More on that later. Let's move on to the stock Crytek Hopup chamber. Here's where things started to look very promising. So although I don't have footage, Sasha's gun was completely fixed. Her range, accuracy, consistency, air seal, everything was consistent with a plastic, flat hopped Crytek Hopup. My shots, however, although consistently hitting the same place I was aiming, was a little overhopped. The issue for me, however, was my Hopup was again too sensitive to adjust. The dial on my Crytek Hopup was set at 1 or 1.5, very low, yet I was overhopping 0.45 gram BBs, albeit at a good distance. Sasha's Hopup was carrying her 0.36 gram BBs somewhere around the 5 or 6 on the dial, so her Hopup was behaving itself. That takes me back to what I said about the human error aspect of making a nub yourself. I'm pretty sure I made the nub in my Hopup uneven or just not as good as hers. In fact, I purposely made them different in dimension because the R-hop windows on our barrels are different. In theory, with a manufactured proper flat nub like this one inside of a plastic or not a MAXX ME Pro chamber Hopup, I think that's exactly what I need to push the reset button on all of this and resolve this shooting problem I'm having. I need less at-home airsoft modification in my life. I don't know about you, but give me the manufactured stuff. I want to avoid shimming and cutting stuff. I clearly don't trust myself, nor should I have to with that sort of thing. For good measure, and with help from many people at the field whom were very interested in to see how my dilemma would end, I really appreciate that, guys. I used several extra nubs and Hopups to work with. More notably, I got these little nubs made out of resin, which is more dense, hard like plastic. Unfortunately, these didn't do the trick for me either. However, I did get my hands on a Modify flat nub, which worked wonders inside my MAXX Hopup. Any shots that veered left or right were eliminated. but up or down was still too inconsistent. So let's pause for a second, because although it sounds like we're done here, this is the part of my day where I become a bit overwhelmed and my brain hurts. So I just discovered that my 2 backup options aren't working. They sorta are, but I need to buy a fresh Hopup and a fresh, proper flat nub. But hey, what about my barrel? What in God's name is inside my barrel? As I stated before, this is my Umbrella Armory Airsoft barrel. There is a very alarming white residue. That didn't sound right. There is a white residue inside my barrel. It looks like it's from BBs, but it's actually not. If it were from BBs, it would simply dust off with water or a simple rub. This is some sort of silicone residue, some oily residue. I gave my barrel a good scrub, and when I mean a good scrub, I made about 20 minutes of wiping and squeegeeing until eventually I got all that residue off. I went ahead and fired my gun for 5 to 10 minutes, and the residue reappeared. Here's the strange thing. I literally cleaned out my F2 engine the night before, so there shouldn't be any old grease coming out of that nozzle and inside the barrel. Furthermore, I discovered that this isn't even a 6.03mm barrel, which Umbrella Armory was advertising to me in the first place. The inner diameter is actually very much more so a 6.01mm diameter. Whether or not this is affecting my shot precision, I don't know. But what the hell's going on here? So this is where I am right now. I currently have no Hopup, and my inner barrel, straight from Umbrella Armory, isn't even the correct diameter. And there's white stuff everywhere. Can you see why my head hurts? Let's take a step back and look at what we learned here. Guys, if you're able, and I mean this, if you're able to purchase a flat hop nub and not make one yourself out of eraser, rubber, silicone, or the foam from your mom's flip-flop, do it. I found somewhat positive results here. Positive in the sense that I just found out I was getting better consistency using 2 plastic Hopup chambers with, I'm guessing, poorly made flat nubs. If you currently have a MAXX Hopup chamber and it's working great for you, that's great. And I'm really happy you managed to make things work, whether that be through your own modifications or maybe your gun is just different and it's accepting your gun much more than mine. But I can't. I cannot recommend anybody getting that chamber in fear that you might find yourself struggling like me. If you're going to use this with your Airsoft barrel, use a proper manufactured M nub with your MAXX chamber, and at least you'll have a fighting chance. And even then, without extra modification to things like your tappet spring and God knows what, good luck with magazine feeding issues using your MAXX Hopup chamber. The only reason mine went away is because I'm using HPA and the nozzle works differently. So I've got some shopping to do, I guess. Looks like I need a new chamber as well as a proper M nub to go along with it. As for my barrel, I've contacted Umbrella Armory, so who knows what they're gonna say. I'm going to clean my Polistar F2 again, and I'm hoping there's something I missed there. Genuinely, I feel like I'm nearing the end of my struggle, especially with a clean slate having a new chamber and a flat nub properly made. I'm not sure what you guys are supposed to specifically learn from all of this, but as a rule of thumb, try your best not to alter what already works in your gun. I bought the MAXX ME Pro because I thought it would give me an edge. It really hasn't. It's just given me an unnecessary headache. Anyway, I'll hopefully be back to regular gameplay as soon as I've replaced my entire Hopup setup, which, as soon as I got home, is already underway. I'll see you guys next time.